everyone. Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here. And it's so good to see you, Steve, as well. Last time I saw Steve, we were probably gigging somewhere around the area. And back in the days, it does feel like a dream, doesn't it? The world pre-COVID. And you have guitars with you. And we're trying our best to make music while we can, in the best way we can. We listen to each other, we share stories. So I don't know how other people feel about writing music during lockdown, but it's actually really hard because there's so many emotions going on and so much is happening. And actually, you do feel quite kind of vulnerable when you actually explore what those emotions are. Yeah. And so there's some kind of safety in writing together, I find. Yeah,
I think you're right. And I mean, I've not done much of it, but I heard a little bit of an interview on the radio the other day with one of the guys from Radiohead, and they were saying that obviously, like you said, this hit, and they thought, okay, well, this is going to be an interesting period, and try and get some stuff done and be productive and creative. And they then caught COVID themselves, and whilst they're sort of doing quite well, they didn't get long COVID as such. They found that really after it cleared up, they were really struggling to be creative, and it just wasn't there. And I think whether you attribute that to the virus itself or just to the whole situation as it is, it's a weird time, isn't it? I mean, can you? I would sort of ask, how important has music been to you during this period? But I think that's all sort of self-evident, really, in many ways. But I mean, music generally, do you find that is a sort of help to sort of keeping some, I don't know, emotional stability, or how useful is it to you as a means of getting by in life?
Absolutely,
emotionally and mentally.
Yeah, no, it's huge. And I think the biggest thing is we sometimes forget that music has that power in our lives. Yeah. And it can just take you somewhere else and kind of help you. I always think it's about helping you process your emotions, and music allows you to do that without thinking. Almost, it takes the emotions that are kind of going on in your head, and it allows you to sort of feel them and make sense of them. And
particularly live music, and as you touched upon earlier, Sam, we're lamenting the current hiatus from that, but we'll get back there. But that's a nice little link, in fact, because we're going to have a little bit of live music now. Because you've got a couple of songs for us this evening, Sam. My good friend, the brilliant Sam Slatcher. And Sam, I'll let you introduce this first song, please, buddy.
So this first song is a song which is called Nether Springs, and it kind of fits the theme actually about looking after your own mental health. And this is, I don't know if anyone has ever sort of decided, today I'm not going to have my phone on, I'm going to switch it off, I'm just going to have a day without my phone. And I say this, and I don't always practice what I preach, but occasionally I'll have a day where I just think, right, I'm not going to have my phone today, and actually I think it's so important for all of us. So this is the kind of premise of the song, and I wrote it about a year ago. I actually released it this year, right in the middle of the pandemic in May. And so it's probably not really that kind of. It's somewhere out there on the in the what do you call it? Somewhere online you'll find it. It's called Nether Springs. Could we have a day without our phone? We have a day without the ping of its tone. Let's cut the 3G out. Let's leave this busy town out here tonight. Come outside, the day is done. No more games left to be won. No more chasing evening deadlines. You know it's out of mind, but it's out of sight. You heard about a place that takes you as you are, speaks kindly to your troubles, heals your broken heart. The silence and the solitude awaits when you arrive. The deepest part of you will cry if only for a moment we could feel alive. Beneath our skin, remember who we are. City boy have I become. Never lift my rhythms by the setting of the sun. I don't know the birds that pass me by. I can't name the birds in the sky to my shade, to my shade. Do you know the place that takes you as you are? Speaks kindly to your troubles and heals your heavy heart. The silence and the solitude awaits when you arrive. The deepest part of you will cry if only for a moment we can feel alive. Beneath our skin, where it all soaks in, you and I remember who we are. La 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 la. La 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 la. La la la. Do you know the place that takes you as you are? Speaks kindly to your troubles, heals your heavy heart. The silence and the solitude awaits when you arrive. The deepest part of you will cry if only for a moment we can feel alive. Beneath our skin, where it all soaks in, if you and I'd remember who we are.
Sam.
They're all queuing outside of it.
We're going to hear again from Sam later, and we've got another musical wonder tonight, which is Nicky Rushton, who's waiting in the wings. But before we go on to some more music, I thought, no.
What's happened?
Oh, God, can you smell that? Oh, it's disgusting.
What's it then?
Okay. Yeah. No, he's looking in. Listen, no, I'm not happy now. Look, it's not funny.
Time and time again, Frank.
Okay.
Time and time again.
Sorry about that. I'm glad there's no smell of armour going on tonight. So, every week, for those who've not been before, we have a variety of musical interests, including obviously the live music, a bit of philosophy, and who greater than to philosophically share his philosophical thoughts with this philosophical audience than Wally's Words of Wisdom.
Hey.
Welcome, Wally.
Hello. Hello from Essex. How are you?
You can talk.
How are we doing?
Do you want me to ask you a few questions, or do you want to just launch in?
No, I'm going to launch straight in. And I started off with thinking about different music styles. Then that led me to thinking about different music tastes, but more specifically, how sometimes we can think that our taste in music is, you know, more informed or more cultured or better or relevant than someone else's. I think that this is a kind of snobbery, and I think more often than not, it's kind of comes with an age thing. Because it's an amusing memory that I'm sure most of us have, where our parents complained about our music, telling us to turn that racket down. And I digress slightly, but I reckon that most of us took that as a sense of pride, like a badge of honour that our parents didn't actually like it. But focusing on that snobbery piece, so I'll give you an example. So when I was younger, kind of like late teens, and in fact, actually, also in my 20s, I confess I very much regarded my musical taste as more superior to those who like 80s and 90s pop specifically. And I admit, yeah, that was pure snobbery on my part. But on reflection, it seems it sat with a lot of ignorance in it too. Because I remember snootily telling my mum that I was a fan of indie music, which I informed her was named after the Indianapolis 500 car race in the States. Why? I have absolutely no idea, but I'm pretty sure I knew what I was talking about at the time. To clarify, Indie stands for a shortening of independent, which was a grouping given to like independent record stores at the time. But ironically, Stock Aitken and Waterman Records were also regarded as indie labels, and so Kylie qualified as indie too. She was pretty big in the 80s and 90s. But anyway, so echoing this kind of arrogance that I had, whenever I talk to my kids about music who are of a similar age, I get a similar arrogant tone that their taste is superior, which is hilarious, obviously, as they listen to terrible music. But what this made me realise, and this could be the recurring theme I keep coming back to, is that actually we really are just the same, no matter what our tastes. So if I like Japanese psych pop techno, and Steve prefers blue jazz disco banjo fusion, which I know he doesn't make us different in any way. It makes us the same. We both love music, it's just different flavours. So you would think that the US election, where the current incumbent lost, but still got just under half the people's vote, which is, I think, was around 70 million, would suggest that there is a huge divide within the US in what they believe or believe is right. But I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think they are as divided. You know, I don't think that really is the case. I mean, we all worry about our health, our families, our homes and our jobs. And whatever political tune, good or bad, we choose to listen to is in essence driven by offering solution to those fears. I'm not going to say who is right or who is wrong. I just think that, like my teenage sons and myself when I was younger, we could be somewhat blinded by being only focused on ourselves and thinking that the alternative is wrong as it's not reflective of us. But differences should be celebrated. So in life, where our fears are very much our own, the same as in music, where our tastes are also unique. And whilst these can be very different, what I wish we could remember is that we try to offer more tolerance to the heavy metalers out there and the jazz big groovers in this world, as we are all essentially dancing to one beat. It's just at times a different tempo, which should themselves be very much respected.
Wally, you old hippie, you.
What?
I used to think it was Indiana Jones, so I've learned something.
Oh, really? There you go.
No, I think there's so much truth and wise words in there, and also I would say that if you are a teenager and don't think that you have the best taste in music in the world, there's something wrong with you. Yeah, you should think that in your teens. It's only when you get older you go, yeah, maybe it wasn't as good as I thought. But no, that's spot on. Cheers, buddy.
Magic. Yeah, thank you, Chris. I don't know where you get it from. And 1 week, I'm going to tell them the history, because I've known you a lot of years, and I remember when you was at Durham University, and you've changed a lot, I think. Or maybe you thought more than I thought you thought when I knew you.
You're a bit thick.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I just think it's beautiful what you come out with. Universal.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris. I'm going to move on now to some more music, and I can see on our screen there's a proper cellar garage thing set up going on here.
So if you want to tell us a bit about yourself, Nicky, and your affiliation with RTProjects and how you came to know them.
Yeah, so in February, March, I was employed by the Sociology Department at Durham University to write 4 protest songs alongside 4 research themes, which was just like heaven, because that's protest, song, they just work so well together. I was very happy. And I wanted to reach out to community groups as well, so I reached out to Beano, who was fantastic, and said, come. I went, and now he won't let me go.
Sounds familiar.
You're singing from the same hymn sheet as we all sing from.
Yeah. But I'd like to reinforce a little bit what you were saying about the creativity around lockdown. It's hard. And I think what's hard is that, like, most of my songwriting, when I write, comes from like my friends, my environment. I might be driving along, something will happen, but nothing's happening. And it feels like, so for me, my only creative outlet in this whole time has been sewing. I've sewn the PA, I've sewn my keyboards.
So, for how long have you been songwriting for? Have you been doing it for a while? I mean,
so since the 80s. So we had the pure villain of Margaret Thatcher to write about then, but I think there's been plenty since.
What does, just so everyone knows in the audience, I know it's different for everyone, and what does music mean to you, and why did you like discover it, and what made you interested in it in the first place?
It's meant everything to me. It's all I've ever done. I've never had a job apart from doing the working for Durham University. That was the first job I'd applied for. I've always made sure I've done music. It's kept my soul alive, and I just don't think whenever I can't do it, it's just wrong for me. So I just make a way to make it happen, always.
That's going to stick with me. That kept my soul alive. I absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. That's really inspiring to hear. And are you looking to hear a song from the trio?
Yeah, the one we're going to do first is called Northern Lights, and that was actually written driving up to Scotland. And I moved up to the northeast of England when I was 12, and the thing that just struck me most was the light. It's just incredible, and every September it comes again, and it's that sort of, reminds me of school, or that start of something, and it's just that light is just so incredible. So this is called Northern Lights. The winter solstice, the sun stubbornly remains below the big horizon. And further north, the polar nights extend their grip. The summer solstice brings up the midnight sun. The handover between dawn and dusk and dusk and dawn brings the big horizon. The yellow sun turns orange, then deep red as it wheels along over the big horizon. And there's a certain slant of light, a very northern light, and feels low and strong. I feel it on my back, it's on my back, my northern back, and I feel it when I'm heading home. Below the big horizon, and further north, the polar nights extend their grip. The summer solstice brings up
midnight sun. And there's a certain slant of light, a very northern line of it, low and strong. I feel it on my back, it's on my back, my northern back, and I feel it when I'm heading home.
Fantastic.
That was brilliant.
Wow.
That absolutely.
Brilliant, eh? Magic.
Really nice.
You just received for that, Nicky, a 10-second big whooping applause, according to my laptop. It doesn't get much better. The only other thing is Labrador, a Labrador in the room. Would you prefer that? No.
What? That's a
Oh no, there is. Oh, let's see if we can find it. It's
Is this in the sound effects meter?
Yes,
Yeah. Oh.
I'm getting retriever. Not getting Labrador.
Okay.
Yes, enough of that.
My dad taught rubbish. He used to have a bulldog crossed with a Shih Tzu.
Oh, dear me.
That's one of my own, that.
You're brave,
Oh, there it is. Look at this. A bit of paper. It's over to... Okay, what should we do now?
Because I've just
That's a
seen
good
Nicky's setup, which I'm loving, by the way.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of the one and only time I decided to play a gig in my living room. So I live in a terraced house, and so that's, you've got people on either side, obviously, for those who don't know what a terraced house is. So I decided at the beginning of lockdown.
Nobody in the north knows what.
Well, not at the beginning of lockdown, sorry. Beginning of lockdown. In March, just before it was all happening, I think it was March when we got locked down. I can't remember exactly. I think it was the 21st, something like that, wasn't it? Anyway, I've got like what Nicky's got. I think she's disappeared now, so she won't be able to hear my story. But if you can name her, Nicky. Oh, hi, Nicky. There was three of us in my living room, right? So like you being the singer, me being the singer, and I had a drummer on like a little drum box, and I had my mate who also plays bass as well. So there's three of us, and I thought it'd be a good idea to play a full-on Facebook Live gig for about an hour and 20 minutes. This is about 8 o'clock at night. I think it was like a Thursday night or something like that. And obviously it was really, really loud. The guy had the bass amp on and everything was like boom, and I had a mic on. It was so selfish thinking about it. And you know, I was just in my own world thinking, oh, it doesn't matter, it's gonna be fine, no one can hear us. And obviously we finished at about 9:30 or something. And then next morning I wake up and I go downstairs and there's a note through the letterbox.
The gig?
Wow. A note through the letterbox.
Oh, no.
And, it's very, to be fair, give credit to them. It was very politely written. And you know, hello, sorry about to be annoying and be a pest, but can you please keep the noise down? And yeah, so that was that's the one and only time I played a gig in my living room. So I just hope you've got more soundproofing in place, Nicky, to be honest, because I didn't. I didn't regard that at all, and I just thought it's going to be fine, but I got a bit of a telling off.
It's when the notes come through to you attached to a brick. That's when you know you've
Yeah.
really upset people.
Yeah.
Can I ask, did you know who the neighbours were?
who
Did
they
you,
were.
do you know the neighbours?
I don't.
What,
It's a bit
what year
weird,
was
man.
this?
I don't know them. I don't know them personally.
What year was it?
This year.
Mm.
It was loud, mind.
It was loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hasn't worked it out yet, has he? I was your neighbour, and I'll tell you. Okay, sorry about that. I feel really sad for him. Have we got any crying sounds on here? Oh, we haven't got any whimpering.
I still play music all the time, like.
Loud.
I just yeah, quite loud,
Irresponsible. Okay, so I think now I've just worked out where we are, that it isn't written in Japanese, I just had it upside down. So we're going to smoothly move on to... Oh, he just bit me. Did you see that?
I didn't see
It
it.
was awful.
I think I told him to.
I think I need to... You keep him happy for that. Do you think he's ready to leap yet? No, he's not ready to leap yet.
We do have a weekly part of the show where we flip Frank.
No, we don't flip Frank. Frank leaps. We try to grab his legs and stop him.
Sorry, Frank leaps from the sofa.
Like, there is some things nice and alliterative about the Frank flips. That's got a
I
ring
thought
to
it
it.
was a nice play of words there, to be honest. Steve.
Yeah, but
Flipping
I
Frank.
thought we explained the first week that we hold his legs to try and stop him because it's irresponsible. He hurts himself, so
He does,
this
yeah,
this
bless
is
him.
us trying to stop him, isn't it?
He's smelling better this week, actually.
He's still good enough to flip though, isn't he? Should I have a thumbs up as if Frank's flip time or not?
Yes!
Oh, that was only one thumb. That was only
There's
one.
two. It's always time to flip, Frank.
Flip.
Oh, it's taking time.
Is this the right time? Have we got full screen? Here we go. Have the last one.
Mental health. Great. isn't
Been
it?
there all night.
I'm not sure
Frank.
we're great for post.
Happy days. Okay, where would we be without Frank, eh? So I've worked out. I do feel a bit for him, you know. We abuse him, really, don't we? Yeah,
Oh dear, he's doing great over.
Feel bad for him now.
yeah, he's gone. And Emma's not behind the couch at all. So
Just by the way, can I just say this is everybody. This is why I do my bit from Zoom by Zoom. I only live next door, but I am not going in there. It's mad.
was it you who complained last week about the noise?
Yeah, I was the other side. It was you from one side, me from the other.
Okay, so we're going to drift into this bit where we pick on the shrinking violets, and it's over to you, Steve, for Mike.
Thank you. Do we have any shrinking violets? Now, here's the question. So, for anybody who's new to these, whatever they are, or whatever, I don't know what we call this, but I'm liking it. So, what we want to do is we want to try and establish a short period of about 10 or 15 minutes during each session, where we basically throw it open to the floor in a musical fashion, and anybody who would like to sing a little, play a little, whatever, has the opportunity to do so. And that's obviously in addition to our sort of professional artist in Sam. This is just the chance for anybody to step up. No one's going to judge you. It's just to share what you want to share musically. And I don't know if we've got anybody out there this evening who would like to do that. If so, you're very welcome to. Otherwise, in future, you can always let us know in advance. Say, yeah, my name's Joe Blogs, and I want to do 5 minutes, sort of thing, and we'll make that happen. But do we have anybody?
Do we have anybody?
Do we?
Do we? Do we?
Wait, my dad's
Yeah.
there, he could play the bass.
He can.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he do that?
Sam's
Has he been nominated?
Sam's done.
Oh, here he is.
Let's get
Here
some
he
bass.
is. Yeah. Thanks, Sam.
That was well timed.
Okay, so I like this bit.
It's
What's happening?
It's fun.
Sorry, I'm confused. Have we got somebody? Is there a bass player?
Someone's been nominated, but they haven't risen to the challenge. Understandably.
We don't want to push anybody. But that's the last thing we want to do.
I'll do it this week as long as I can put me video off and my sound off.
Well, if you don't win,
That's how it goes, Beano.
Will that not work?
No, I don't think that's the.
It was actually probably the best way.
That's not the end. But just to let everyone know, last week we did our first open mic, didn't we?
Yes, we did. The very first open mic.
Radek, I don't know if he's here tonight, but you know, I just want to extend my thanks to Radek because it was amazing last week, and the courage to take to come up and do something, albeit virtual. It's still that same kind of jump, isn't it? So that was great. I mean, if no one can come this week, that's great. That's no problem.
And he was in Poland as well, wasn't he?
He was in Poland.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if everyone heard that, but he was in Poland.
He was.
And was he actually in Poland?
He was. Yeah.
The northeast of Poland, wasn't it? That was the joke.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
I wonder if we have anybody who's not in the UK with us tonight. I don't know.
Yeah. Any international viewers?
Any international viewers tonight?
Yeah. Anyone from overseas? Fancy playing some open mic? No.
Yeah. France, Germany, Sunderland. Anybody?
Nearly Switzerland, I think. Yeah.
Really?
Nearly.
Really?
Well, I texted him. Well, he's not here, so it's close.
Who's that? I'm missing.
It's someone who wished to remain anonymous, Graham Grundy. I didn't say that, but he might tune in next week.
Marvellous Graham Grundy.
Yes,
it'd be lovely to see him and have him on board, wouldn't it?
It would, wouldn't it? Yeah. But I think he was here for the first week, and I think he saw what it's made of, so he won't be coming back.
Oh, okay. For the uninitiated, Graham Grundy is a fantastic local music promoter, and just an all-round good egg who's been a massive supporter of RTProjects, and he's a really, really good guy. And in fact, I think he is responsible for, and I would go further and use the word guilty, in introducing you and me to each other, wasn't he, Beano?
It was rather like someone breaking wind and leaving the room, wasn't it?
I'll be honest, yes.
And we're sort of stuck now, aren't we? Because neither of us we're so nice, we haven't got the courage to say, see you, mate, have we?
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
A really bad smell.
He might join us one day. There's a couple of other aspects to Sounds Good, which is what you were looking for before, Steve. This is called Sounds Good, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And there's a couple of features which you might want to tell other people about so they can be ready for next week. I'm going to try and see if you can guess which ones. It's where people send music in. I'll put you on the spot here. Do you want me to give you a clue?
You have put me on the spot. Are we talking here about, no, not musical memories?
Yes, yeah, that's one.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. Good guess.
Yeah, exactly. So the musical memories is the opportunity for folks to send in a track, and you can either just point us in the direction of it or send a video or an audio, whatever. Videos would be great, of a song that has meant something to you. So something that just means something to you that you think might, chivvy the rest of us along, as well as everybody needs that little bit of help and assistance along the way. And you don't have to, but you're very welcome to maybe say a few words about it if you want to, or pass a few words on to us and we'll say them for you, whatever floats your boat.
So on that note, I do believe we've got one for this week. And who's it off, Em?
Marvellous.
Is that what you were doing then?
This is from Angel.
All right, so Angel, who...
Is this yours? It is, isn't it? Birdie.
No, that's the memories. That's on the way out.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is. Oh, okay.
Okay. So we would love to have got it right, but it would have looked too good, wouldn't it? So it's free. Has anybody paid tonight? Yeah, stop laughing.
We've got this far without doing things right. Let's not mess it up now.
We haven't got another one because we did get one, but I know it wasn't long ago. I'm not going to look at anybody, but we didn't get it in time. So Emma hasn't actually got it, I don't think. Have you got it, Em?
Someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So we have got a musical memory.
Sorry,
yeah.
The only memory we have got by the sounds of it.
Before we play it though, I'm wondering whether the person who nominated would like to tell us why it's a musical memory, or would
Shall I come over here?
You certainly can.
Woo!
Hey!
Oh, we're swapping.
I feel away from you, like.
You have to ask Sam some questions.
Hi Sam, this is Sam by the way. We've got two Sams tonight, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
We've got 2 Sams.
Can't have too many Sams.
Can't have too many Sams, you're right there. Hi, Sam.
Hiya.
All right. So, what is your musical memory?
Right, I'll give a little bit of background, but there is humour involved, so hopefully everyone, when I play the songs played, will see that. But basically, I had a really traumatic time a good few years ago, but I was in hospital on a locked ward. The treatment was really brutal, and the staff were sadistic and cruel. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I got discharged, but I was diagnosed with PTSD from my hospital treatment. Anyway, whilst I was recovering, I found a song, and it was very cathartic, but it is funny as well. So basically, this is the song, and it's called "The Lunatics Have Taken Over the Asylum."
Thanks, Sam. That was fantastic.
Brilliant, Sam.
And quite brave as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, The Line, Jack Nicholson. The only difference between us and them is they've got the keys.
Great line.
Okay, I think we're going to hear some more live music, and Joe's going to tell us what that is.
Yeah, so we just had one Sam do the musical memory, and we're going to have the other Sam to come back and do some more music for us.
Great.
So for those of you who weren't here at the beginning of the show, Sam is our musical guest this evening, and he played a wonderful song for us earlier. It was about phones, wasn't it?
Sing it.
Phones, was it about
Yeah,
the song?
that's it, yeah.
I love the meaning behind it. And you're going to sing a second song for us now, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Cool.
And
take it
I
away.
might even get some audience participation.
Ooh.
Now,
Oh.
when I used to, back in the days, when we used to do gigs and used to be all in the same room, although some of us are in the same room, and this is actually a real treat for me because there are only 2 times I've left the house for work. One is to sign some forms, and the second is this gig here. So it's fantastic. But I'd usually get people singing along. Now, obviously, you're all at home with your microphones unmuted, and the beauty is that I won't know what you're singing, and you don't know that you're not singing or are singing. So you can sing your heart out to your heart's content, and you won't know. You've got no one judging your singing. So if you'd like to sing along at home, this is how the chorus goes. This song, while I was thinking about it, there's another link to this place. The genesis of this song actually happened literally about 300 metres away from this very spot where we are in Durham. And this happened a few years ago, and it was part of a project called Stories of Sanctuary. And the lyrics for this song come from a woman who music is really important to her in terms of her own trauma and actually processing her trauma from fleeing war. So she comes from Syria, and she's a poet and a writer, and the lyrics for this song come from her. And this is one of her first songs or poems in English, and she usually writes very fluently in Arabic. This is her first English song. So I'd love it if you want to join in. The chorus is very simple. It goes like this. And if you want to sing along, please do. It goes like this. Ready? Let us be together. Let us dream as one. We become more beautiful when we find our song. Want to try it together? Let us be together. Nice. Let us dream as one. We become more beautiful when we find our song. Lovely, and this is the song. We live under the same sky. We breathe in the same air. We bleed from the same skin. Our difference not between us but within. Let us be together. Let us dream as one. We become more beautiful when we find our song. The words that we speak, like a river running dry, and our hearts do bleed and they cry. We only have today in our hearts. The roots run deeper than we could ever speak. Let us be together. Let us dream as one. We become more beautiful when we find our song. Renew the day with love, sweet love. Let us be together. Let us dream as one. Our lives too short for anger be together. Let us dream as one. We become more beautiful when we find our song. Renew the day with love, sweet love. Let us be together. Let us dream as one. Let us be together. Let us dream as one. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Sam, that's fantastic. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
I love that
Jack
song.
Johnson,
No,
very
cheers.
Jack Johnson vibes, if anyone knows that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, brings me that summer. I know it's not a summer, but that summery, happy feel.
Definitely.
Feel good, isn't it?
Definitely.
Feel good for sounds good.
Absolutely. Sam, can I just ask you, mate? You there?
Yeah.
Hey, good man. So if we want to find out a little bit more about you, bud, where do we go? What's your website? Hello. Website, Facebook, etc. How would people find you?
So if you go on Facebook, you can find me, Sam Slatcher Music. I guess you could put it in the chat, couldn't you? Or you can go to www.samslatcher.com, and then all the links, actually, that's the best place to go. All the links are there. And if you want to find out about the music project, it's called Citizen Songwriters, and that's citizensongwriters.org. It's feel free to check us out, and that's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Citizen, singular.
Right.
Citizensongwriters.org. Fantastic. And it's been a real pleasure. This is like, I honestly feel the endorphins of being back in some form of, we are obviously still distant, but we're kind of in the same room, and it's amazing. And
physically distanced, not socially distanced.
Exactly, we are physically.
Oh, very good.
Socially
I like
distanced.
that.
Yeah,
Good point.
that's the one. That's it.
Excellent.
Thank
you, Sam. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
I vote we all start to use that
Yeah,
technology rather
because
than
social distance is,
physical
that's right, we can
distance,
be socially connected, can't we?
Yes,
But
exactly.
distant,
Yeah,
that's it.
Thanks very much, Sam.
That's it.
And here's a fact for you as well.
I like that.
I think Sam is our first guest to actually come into the studio. Is that right?
Yeah.
Just
Yes,
musical
technically,
guests.
well, yeah, because effectively you're a host and so is Steve. So
Yeah.
the first. So that's another round of applause. Sam.
Absolutely.
I think you also deserve a prize, Sam. You can't talk about. We need to see these, don't we? Yeah. So that's what you win. You won't be back, will you?
I won't be back with those, no. Never need to leave the house again.
They're light-footed.
give him one figure.
I actually took a cast of a pet cat I had once. I used to call him Feet, and he used to walk along and he'd hide from behind the curtains, and if we had any guests, he'd just stick his feet out. Oh, it would freak them out when the cat turned up.
I love it.
I've got this visual going on now.
Yeah,
So-
we all have.
So what we got on? Have you got one of these, Steve? Have you got
I think we've got another Nicky, haven't we?
I have.
There's Nicky still
Yeah, we
there
have,
with us.
yeah,
I can
yeah.
see Nicky.
Yeah.
Hi, Nicky.
I have.
You have. So what's coming on next then?
Nicky. Some more
Well,
Nicky.
sounds like it could be Nicky, bro. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. He's got one. Yeah.
Why
So
not?
It's. Are you introducing Nick or is it?
Yeah, Nicky. Yeah, hi.
Hi. Do you want us to do another song then?
We would absolutely
What?
love
That would
that.
be wondrous.
Yes, please
Well,
do.
the song, I was lucky enough to have a nice dad, and I wrote a song for him. And it was actually, I wrote it on his birthday because I had to write a song a day for a month. And I got to this day and I realised it was his birthday, so this was for him.
I'll save the bigger one for after.
54 years ago, she sang you happy birthday as you held your 8-month baby in your arms. A classic case of sponge cake, you blew out the candle and made a wish that no harm would come. Your children children gathered round, presenting their presents of hand-painted cards and a poem within. Various animals made out of tinfoil, and the joy of the innocent was given to him. She sang happy birthday, darling, as she stood by the ark, and you kissed your baby girl on her head. Happy birthday, their voices rang clear round the kitchen, voices that love he would never forget. He thought of all the letters of love he had written her, all tied with ribbons and bound with care. He turned to embrace her and smiled at his children while tenderly brushing her curl from her hair. She sang happy birthday, darling, as she stood by the ark, and to kiss her baby girl on her head. Happy birthday, their voices rang clear round the kitchen, voices of love he would never forget. We have a violin player who does this. I thought I'd practice it on here, but here we go to the chorus. She sang happy birthday, darling, as she stood by the ark, and you kissed your baby girl on her head. Happy birthday, their voices rang clear round the kitchen, voices of love he would never forget.
And a dance
Brilliant.
at the end.
I know, yeah,
a little
that
bit
jig
of
at
a
the
jig
end
there,
there.
like that.
Well, we usually have a violin player and somebody who plays the cello and who does all those sort of solos and beautiful bits. And I was trying to do them, but badly.
You did a very good job.
Oh,
of that.
And
grand.
could you remind us, Nicky, who are the other band members?
So over here is Suzanne Lambert. Over here we have Sarah Vangeli.
Love that
And the dog is Esther.
man. Go on to the dog sound. Oh,
Can you flip the dog? Because it's become a bit of a. If you could just flip the dog for us. We'd be.
okay.
Don't flip the dog. Do not flip the dog.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Thank you, Nicky.
Okay,
Thanks for asking us. Thank you.
that was magical. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
So unfortunately, we're at the end of the show now, and one of the things for those new guests is we always the Zoom endings are not like real endings. You don't shake hands or hug or anything. So you get frozen shots of people's nostrils and everything. So we've devised a way of getting rid of that. We have what's called a musical memory at the end, or an inspirational song. And this week, Angel is with us, who's picked a song and is going to tell us a bit about her memory. But before we do that, we say goodbye. Angel has also brought soup and bread, so she's in a hurry to get this one out of the way. So we're all going to say goodbye. We're all sort of going to say goodbye, but then we'll fade out with a song. So I'd like to thank Joe.
I'd like to thank you. If you want to clap me, that's fine, yeah.
No, I thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Steve.
Oh, say thanks to Steve. Say thanks to Steve, everybody.
A pleasure. And I would like to say thank you to Frank, because these are.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, hang on. No, I've missed. No, and thank you, Beano. Thank you, Beano.
Yeah.
Thank you. Absolute legend.
And there's a young lady who's been frantically pushing buttons and.
I was about to say as well, thank you to Emma too.
Yes,
great
thank you, Emma.
Keeping it all afloat. Hey, this is.
And most of all, thank you all for turning up, because this is the new
Amen.
get to loving each other at the moment, and it feels pretty good to me. I think Sam mentioned it, didn't you? And it does have a real feel to it.
It does.
So thank you for being part of it and helping.
Yeah, indeed.
So I'm going to ask Angel to say a few words about.
Can I quickly say one thing, just very quickly?
Yeah.
It's not gone unnoticed to me that this Thursday night slot at 7 o'clock was the old Top of the Pops slot. I think that's very valid.
Oh, I love that.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for mentioning it. I really appreciate that. Also, that this is a very good. It occurred to me when we were doing the thanks a minute ago, and it didn't happen. We should say thank you as well to Wally for Wally's words of wisdom.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
So we all get to say goodbye now, but we'll ask Angel first what her words of memories are. Are you okay being on this, Angel?
No. Now I'm on.
You're on, yeah. So tell us about this song that you're gonna.
And what about this song? I came to England about 16 years ago, and I kept complaining about missing home all the time. So when this song came out, a friend of mine sent it to me. She said, "All you need is people to make a home."
Oh.
So, I'm in love with the song.
That is magic.
That's great.
Yeah.
So bye everybody. See you next week.